Caribbean inside, Caribbean inside, Caribbean inside, please check Caribbean inside.
1 Thessalonians 4:14 to 18. For if we believe that Jesus died and rose again, even so them also which sleep in Jesus will God bring with him. For this we say unto you by the word of the Lord, that we which are alive and remain unto the coming of the Lord shall not prevent them which are asleep. For the Lord himself will descend from heaven with a shout, with the voice of the archangel, and with the trump of God, and the dead in Christ shall rise first. Then we which are alive and remain shall be caught up together with them in the clouds, to meet the Lord in the air, and so shall we ever be with the Lord. Wherefore, comfort one another with these words.
O Lord my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the worlds thy hands have made, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power throughout the universe displayed. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, yes, how great thou art. And when I think that God his son not sparing sent him to die, I scarce can take it in. For it was on that cross, all my burden gladly bearing, he bled and he died to take away my sin. When Christ shall come with shouts of acclamation to take those who love him home, what joy shall flood our hearts. And we shall bow, we shall bow, we shall bow in humble adoration and then proclaim, my God, you are great. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. Oh Lord, you're great, you're wonderful, majestic, all powerful, you're great, oh God. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. Oh Lord, you're great. Yes, God, you're great. We thank you for this day that you have made. Oh God, you are
These modern housewives, these people could take lives. It is a problem I can't solve, but they really don't know what is love. Anytime they married, they start playing wicked, and you cannot touch them at all. For this is a woman's world. I buy me 2 balls to play me golf. I meet my girl kiss kissing a poodle. So I went and I hit the woman a cuff. Somebody next door ball out that's enough. Then I let her go, she run for a blade. I want to sleep but the shadow afraid. Whole night I ain't close my eyes at all. Afraid if I sleep she cut up my balls. Take their advantage. For if a woman kill a man, certainly she won't get hung. That's why they just put you. And if you ask them, they leave you. And they go on with the sugar man. And you still have to maintain them. My girlfriend know my hobby is golf, but her hobby is Rudolph. So anytime I bring home my balls, I don't leave them near she at all. We had a quarrel the other night. Me and my girlfriend, we had a fight. Yo, the girl is so wicked. You know she want to wash my balls with acid. Yeah. Every Friday evening, my girl is a darling. She kissing me, I'm feeling nice. Inside my house like paradise. Monday morning finish, the girl watching me like rubbish. And if I touch she hand Tuesday night, she running for cutlass to out me light. Friday evening, I draw me pay. I lost my money playing play. So I went home, quiet like a priest. You know the girl watching me like a beast. Then I went and fall asleep on the sofa. She picked up me 2 balls with butter. You wouldn't guess the reason at all. She want cockroach to bite up my balls. Thank you very much. Yeah. There you go.
It was the story of life that Dr. Winston Bailey, the mighty shadow, asked, "What is life?" The mighty shadow said, "The trees, they grow big and strong to get cut down." He asked, "Tell me the true sense. Was this tree ever in existence?" Through his lyrics, the world was blessed to glimpse into the soul of a complex musical genius and cultural ambassador. Through his lyrics, the mighty shadow was gifted with the ability to create vivid images, reflect us as a people, and force listeners to think. It was the mighty shadow who reminded us that everybody is somebody and poverty is hell, while being able to equally entertain us when the formula for tabanka was wadap kokie. The mighty shadow explained why she garden water and you're looking for horn, easily connecting with masses on relatable subject matters. The formative years that Dr. Winston Bailey spent growing up with his grandparents in Les Coteaux, Tobago, is evident in his art form. As one of Tobago's cultural ambassadors, he expressed discontentment with the Calypso industry when he considered forgetting Calypso to go back and plant peas in Tobago. Shadow masterfully brought his childhood to life by recreating his experience when he said they came from Culloden with horns on their head. Art imitated life when mighty Shadow recalled, "Pay the devil, pay the devil." That determined Tobago spirit was evident in the persona that is the mighty shadow, even as he asked the judges, "What's wrong with me?" as he expressed being treated unfairly whilst consistently producing excellent music. The Mighty Shadow collaborated with the Tobago House of Assembly on a number of projects. The recreation of a Tobago Day in Toronto, Silver and Gold, the tribute concert, celebrating 25 years of the Tobago Heritage Festival and 50 years of independence. The Honorable Chief Secretary Kelvin Charles, the Tobago House of Assembly, the residents and people of Tobago joins the Bailey family, the Calypso fraternity, and the rest of the world as we mourn the loss and celebrate the life, the contribution and legacy that is the Mighty Shadow. We will always remember his commitment to his craft, that purpose-driven individual dressed in all black. We will always remember his unique dance, uncanny refrain, and facial expressions that tugged at our conscience and appealed to our very souls. We will always remember his talent to passionately combine his personality with thought-provoking lyrics and haunting melodies. Even as Shadow and Farrell, the bassman from hell, now serenade the saints, he was able to provide the answer to his own question when he asked, "What is life?" Collectively, we feel blessed to have been touched in one way or another by the existence of the Mighty Shadow, and for this we say thank you. May his soul rest in peace.
Bred in Les Coteaux, a cultural village in Tobago. The Mighty Shadow, a true genius in Calypso. 1971, he challenged the two great Calypso champions, Sparrow and Kitchener, and music war on them he declared. Hey, hey, with music and fantasy, and rhythm in harmony, just like a storm, a new Calypso star was born. Hear me now. Bumpy Tim Pum was the bassman, para was the horn line, and drum rhythms gone crazy, fascinate everybody. Then we start to dance. You get in the mood with the shadow pants. Look me now. Jump up on one step, jump up and do stop. To sweet melodies from the pen of Winston Bailey. Thank you. Pull it down. Pull it down. One love. As we stand here or sit here, gather here this morning to send our brother back to the kingdom of our ancestors in a blaze of glory, let us remember that 2,000 years ago, a man called Jesus Christ walked this planet. And he brought a new revolutionary thinking in spirituality and theological teachings. That was Jesus Christ. From then to now, the teachings of Jesus Christ has remained alive. He was deemed a revolutionary. In the same way, Winston Bailey is a revolutionary in terms of music and artistry from Trinidad and Tobago. In fact, Bailey told me, when I went to Art Decoto to do my arrangement, Art Decoto said, "You like a revolutionary that come to upset the whole Calypso thing." So, recognizing that Shadow entered the Calypso world at a time when planet Earth was undergoing a new consciousness, a new awareness. The peoples of Asia, Africa, North America and the Caribbean, and the youths of Europe were all starting to believe that everybody is somebody, and they rose up. In the United States, James Brown, Aretha Franklin, Otis Redding, and others were leading the revolution in soul music. And as Bailey said, I listened to James Brown, and I knew we had to introduce the drum and the bass in Calypso music in order for it to keep up with the times. And this is what he did. And when he did that, it created a whole new dimension and broadening up the structure of Calypso music, which eventually evolved into what we now call soca music. Forget who brings it in. We're talking about the music. And the recorded music is there for us to research. In fact, one thing you could research when you leave here, The first song that Sparrow sang after Bassman was a song called Dragon Dance with bass like hell in that song. So that we recognize not only did his music captivate the nationals of Trinidad and Tobago, but it captivated people worldwide. And as such, as I leave here, there are three things I would like to see happen. I would like to call on Brother Resistance, the head of TUCO and a progressive thinker, to give Sharon Bailey and Sean Bailey particularly, a stage in the Calypso tent forever and ever in memory of the great man. I would also like to call on the Tobago House of Assembly, I see our dear secretaries here, to name the Shore Park Cultural Complex after Winston Bailey. Do not name a room in it after Winston Bailey. The whole complex must be named after him, because nobody in artistry has projected Tobago on the international scene as him. And as I leave here, remember, Shadow music was a uniting music. He united the African. He was an African conscious brother. But he wanted unity between the two major races. He believed in the Chinese. He believed in the Europeans. His music was a uniting force. So we leave you. One love, Winston. One love. We shall meet again. He's not dead. Life is death and death is life.
You're broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, and you can find a fighter, but I see it in you, so we're gonna work it out and move mountains. We're gonna work it out and move mountains. And I'll rise up, highlight the day. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, highlight the waves. I'll rise up, in spite of the ache. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, when the silence isn't quiet and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe, and I know you feel like dying, but I promise we'll take the world to its feet and move mountains. Take it to its feet and move mountains. And I rise up, highlight the day. I rise up, in spite of the ache. I rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, all we need is home, and for that we have each other, and for that we have each other. We will rise, and we'll rise. We rise, and I rise up, highlight the day. I rise up, in spite of the ache. I rise, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I rise
Sukuya in trouble. Why, yeah. Vampire in trouble. Slim thick girl with mini dress. A whole lot of blood, but no blood test. Sukuya used to suck in the night. Sukuya like the drop out of sight. Sukuya drinking whiskey and beer. Sukuya saying this is unfair. If Dracula should come into town, Dracos is going to say this is wrong. Dracos will have to practice to eat a chicken and chips or a patty with meat, a glass full of milk and a half of a bread. Then after that he fall down and dead. Sukuya in trouble. Vampire, sing this song loud for Dr. Bailey. Suku, yeah. Suku, yeah. Oh, watch me, Suku, yeah. You can't touch me, Suku, yeah. Suku, yeah, in trouble. Boy, yeah. Vampire in trouble. Slim thick girl with mini dress.
Mini dress.
Whole lot of blood, no blood test.
No blood test.
Sukuya want to suck out your blood. Sukuya love blood like piggy love mud. Sukuya catching the now. Sucking the goat, sucking the cow. Watching at all them nice pretty girl. Telling themself if I catch you your ball. Watching in the night with a vampire eye. Brother, if you think they go suck you, you lie. Fly in your house in the middle of the night. Fly out your window, gone like a kite. Telling your friends you're easy to suck. Don't take chances, better try and do. Watch me, Sukuya. You can't touch me, Sukuya. Suku. I can't hear you, Savannah. Suku. But Suku, yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Na, yeah. Sukuya in trouble. Boy, yeah. Vampire in trouble. Slim thick girl with mini dress.
Mini dress.
A whole lot of blood, no blood test.
No blood test.
Somebody tell me Sukuya rough. When they are thirsty, Sukuya tough. Come in the house and you bust up your eye. Suck out your blood and they tell you don't cry. Look in the right and they hit you a bite. You looking to fight, they hit you a right. Then you get chocolate like somebody bubbly. But Sukuya nowadays playing smart. Sukuya nowadays not doing that. Sukuya nowadays checking your purse. Fly in the house and they searching your purse. They want to know if you check out the duck. They want to know if you're solid like rock. They want to know if your skin smelling good. They want to know if you're eating junk food. Fly in your house in the middle of the night. Fly out your window, gone like a kite. Telling your friends you're easy to take, but don't take chances. Better fry a bake it. Suku. Everybody says your hand and sing it for Bailey. Suku. Everybody sing this song for Dr. Bailey. Suku, yeah. Suku, yeah. Rest in peace, Dr. Bailey, we love ya. I say, rest in peace, Dr. Bailey, we love ya. We'll miss you. Matter of fact, our your rising power. Everybody sing this song one time for the man. Suku.
We want to welcome the Shadows booking agent from 1978. Please put your hands together and welcome Mr. Herman Hall to the stage.
Before I make my formal remarks, Dr. Slinger Francisco, the mighty Sparrow, spoke to me on Friday, and he quoted some sentences he wanted me to state. I understand he also called the family late on Sunday, to express his sympathy. So now I will read a statement from the mighty Sparrow. I offer my sympathy from my family to the family of Dr. Winston Bailey. One love. We have been pretty close from the very beginning. He eventually started singing in my tent because I recognized the talent in him and I loved to hear him. When he became a big star, we eventually had a three-way clash between his tent, my tent, and Kitchener's tent. He certainly broke up the Road March monopoly between Kitchener and I. Bassman remains one of my favorites. These are some of my memories of him. And if I were to remake my song, Memories, Winston Bailey, Shadow, he would certainly be in it. I also bring you greetings from Shadow's friend from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the Beckett. Beckett has also asked me to convey his sympathy to the family of Dr. Winston Bailey and the passing of his beloved friend. And late last night I saw he texted me again asking me to pass on his congratulations to the Bailey family on the achievement of Shadow being honored by the University of the West Indies. Now one more thing just before I give my formal remarks. I noticed that Winston Gypsy Peters, he always surprises me. He sang One Morning I Will Fly Away, and both Gypsy and Shadow were fans of Bob Marley. And at 4 a.m., I attended the funeral of Bob Marley, and at 4 a.m. in the way I was, it was a private Christian funeral at that particular time. Before we went to the stadium, the song As the Sun Rose Over the Blue Mountain Range is One Morning I Will Fly Away. And it's just so surprising that Gypsy chose to sing that song. And for the two young ladies, I think they're standing in the back, who sang Everybody is Somebody. And for the young people of Trinidad and Tobago who may be seeing this service maybe on the evening news, I just want you to know that Everybody is Somebody was the soundtrack of a major Hollywood blockbuster in the 1980s called Lean on Me, based on the inspiration of a headmaster in New Jersey. And that was the song, Lean on Me. And nobody knew it was Sorrow's song except it was called, the name gave him, Winston Bailey. Now for my short formal remarks. I want to emphasize something that you, the public, most people don't know, the other side of the Shadow. As far as I'm concerned, Mr. Shadow was the first Mr. Mom I knew. Mr. Mom. One evening in 1978, Robin, founder of the Sonata Still Orchestra in Brooklyn, asks me if his friend Shadow can spend the night at my home. Robin is now the Calypsonian Conk Robin, and he's sitting right in the second row. Why don't you stand, Robin, to take a bow? Conk Robin. So in 1978, Robin introduced me to Shadow. Up to that time, like many other persons, I heard the great hit. I enjoy Shadow's Bassman, and we come out to play, but I never met the great one. Within weeks, Shadow asked me to be his manager. Shadow always laughed over the last 40 years when I reminded Shadow and other Calypsonians that I am not Shadow's manager, as they say. I prefer to say I am his booking agent, because in the world of Calypso, very few Calypsonians understand the role of a manager. So I always kid Shadow saying, I am not your manager, I'm just your booking agent. From 1978 until that dreadful day, last Tuesday, I considered Shadow and I considered myself his booking agent, friend, and consultant. I prefer to restrict my remarks now to Shadow, the family man, Shadow, Mr. Mom. As he wrote in his unpublished autobiography, written in 2000-2001. Now, yes, Shadow wrote his autobiography since then, and every year he will say publish, edit, and then 2 months later he will call and say stop the project. 3-4 months ago, he told me go ahead with the project. He only knew his father, as he said in his autobiography, when he became an adult. And growing up with his grandfather was not a bed of roses. That's one of the reasons he sang and sang to forget the wrath of his grandfather. But Shadow did not want his 5 children to undergo his dreadful childhood experience. For those of you who know the close bond between Shadow and his 2 sons, Sean and Sholon, I say no more. You just saw them standing. I say no more. These are the reasons I call Shadow Mr. Mom. During certain years of their lives, he was really Mr. Mom to his daughters, his 3 lovely daughters. Esther, Idris, they meant the world to him, and his last daughter to Chadwick, now Mistress Cadogan. Upon arriving to do a show in Brooklyn in the 80s and 90s or any other city, his first priority was to shop for his daughters. Then there were thoughts, you can say. He would bring a piece of cardboard showing the size of their tiny feet so he could purchase their shoes. But he had a list of items given to him by the mothers and his neighbor, Kathy. Sometimes I would take the list and give it to a female friend or female friends to make the necessary purchase. And knowing Shadow as you do, he will quarrel that he just bought those things for the young ladies. And I would say, Shadow, just leave it for the moms to know what the young ladies need. When Idris played, most people don't know that Idris played for the University of Massachusetts. In Massachusetts, she played on the basketball team and a scholarship. Shadow made it his duty to visit her when in New York, Boston and Washington and in Connecticut. Truthfully, we gradually tricked her from accepting a scholarship to California. It took a little nudging to tell her California is too far away. She would not able to see her dad, so why don't she choose the eastern side of the states? And certainly she did. On one occasion, after a performance in Toronto, we left the hotel, or the show ended maybe about 3-4 o'clock. I see Super Blue is looking and he would know what I'm talking about. Shadow had to change 3 or 4 planes the next morning. Small little planes the next morning in order to arrive on a tiny little isolated college in a town in Texas, for Idris' graduation that afternoon. That's the Shadow I knew. Shadow, a responsible father and loving father. Now I just want to mention that to me, Shadow is one of the last of Calypsonian. This is what I mean. Shadow cared for his colleagues. Many of them are here. Yes, given the traditional competitiveness of how Calypso is organized, in the goal to achieve a crown of monarch, many Calypsonians envy each other for that prize. But for Shadow, that was not an issue among the Calypso fraternity, but not for the fans to intervene. While it may have been an issue among Calypsonians, you dare not go and badmouth any Calypsonian to Shadow. Even those publicly he may have fell out with, he will defend the Calypsonians all the way. He may not have showed it publicly because he was very shy. Most people do not know that. He was very shy, so he may not have showed it publicly or even attended some of the Calypsonian funerals. But Shadow quietly helped Calypsonians in need. One of his best friends was the late Lord Blakey. I always enjoyed the laughs with Shadow and Blakey when they came to Piarco to meet me. One New Year's night in New York City was blanketed with snow. That fell a few days before. The airport was closed. Fortunately, the old BWIA was one of the first to arrive when Kennedy reopened close to midnight on New Year's. New Year met us on our way to Brooklyn for the show. All Shadow was lamenting about that he did not visit Blakey, who was very ill, to inform him that he was going to New York. The show ended, typical New York time, about 4 a.m. New Year's morning. The show ended. Shadow was on the first flight to Kennedy, then going to Piarco. That flight was leaving Kennedy at 7 a.m. for Piarco. Yet Shadow had me driving him on that icy, treacherous road around Brooklyn in the first hours of New Year morning to get medicine for his friend Blakey. And that is what I call commitment. But as I conclude, that's the Shadow I knew and the Shadow I remember. Shadow was a true patriot of Trinidad and Tobago. Unlike many other Calypsonians, he never let his political affiliation or the party he may vote for in election, he never made that an issue. But he was, I can tell you, Shadow was more a patriotic Trinidad and Tobagonian than most politicians of our time. So let's not mourn, but celebrate the life of Shadow. I am sure he is welcome in the other world by Calypso and still by icons, including, of course, Lord Kitchener, Lord Blakey, his good friend Ken, Professor Fillmore, Roseman Duke, and from past generation, Macbeth the Great, the Duke of Iron, Attila the Hun, the Roaring Lion, Gerald Clark, the great musician who made Calypso in the 40s, who recorded all the songs in New York. To end, I want to end with those words that I saw yesterday at the University of the West Indies when I visited to see the display they had at the University Library. And those words of the Shadow. My aim is high, close to the sky. I cannot fly, but I have to try to reach my goal, to hit the world. And I want the family of Shadow to know that Shadow did hit the world, because I was exercising last Tuesday morning when a former manager of traffic called me to tell me of Shadow's passing. And within an hour, the internet, as we all know, and I was getting calls from all over until I left to come down here, of the Shadow. So he did hit the world because the world knew of him. Thank you very much.
I just want to say thanks to Winston Peters for asking me to say something here today. I cannot finish thanking you for looking out for those who have done things for our culture, not just here, but abroad. So I thank you, Winston, for bringing me here to say some few words. I did not rehearse anything because, like I said, I don't want to play back the tape, which we know all about tapes. But I have to say something. And I pray the good Lord will guide me through this short moment to express myself in the best possible way, in the shortest possible way. To all his fans, to the Calypso fraternity, the dancers, the musicians, all the foot soldiers, known and unknown person, that get together to make this mission a great mission for the world to see. And to his family, his immediate family, and to our departed brother. It was in deep sadness when I got the news that Shadow passed. I grieved for many a days. But as you all know, no soul dies but by the permission of God. And that is the irrevocable will of the eternal. What that really means is not one of us that come can stay. We all have an appointed time. But while we are here, we ought to do the best we can, not just to serve ourselves, but to serve God. Because all that remains is what we have done for him. I have to say that because some of us think that we're not going to go from here. So we continue doing the things that the good Lord don't want us to do. I came here because I know he asked me to be here and I was scared if I didn't come, what he was going to do to me. So I came. My dear brothers, my dear family, as I can call on you all today, as we are grieving the loss of one of our great, why don't we all just stand? The ones that are standing, join the ones that are standing, and let's put our hands together. Because all of us that here can say something or sing something, but we could express our love and appreciation in a different kind of way. So if we can just stand and clap our hands and show your love for all the songs that he has sing. Show your love for the way he looked. Show your love for the way you took him as a comedian with his deep songs that touch many of us. Show your love, my dear brothers and sisters. Please show your love. Many of us has come and gone, and we never come to say goodbye, because hello don't mean nothing to us. But we are here because he touches every one of us with his song, with his style, with the way he looks. A unique look that Calypso had never seen before and will never see after he is gone. The only ones that are not here today is the one that he's going to meet tomorrow. Like the great Kitchener, soca innovator Lord Shorty, the mighty maestro, how could we forget him? Melody, mighty Duke. All these great guys, just to call a few, and Lord Melody, who laid the groundwork for many of us abroad with his mama look at boo-boo. How could you remiss from calling him for the work that he have done for our culture? Many, many more I can call, but I know when someone is dead and we got to make speeches, we always hear, make it short, like he lives a short life, like he didn't do anything good. So we don't want to hear too much. We got to go and party and have a good time. Make it short. Or you know, during past is going to be so, you know, and they're talking about that. We ain't making nothing short for him, because he didn't came up short. When he was jumping, when he was writing, when he was making his songs for us to have a good time, to make love, to jump up with, to form the fool with, he didn't came up short. So we're not going to shorten up nothing here with his past thing. Whether you like it or not, we're not going to make it short today. We have 24 hours in a day. We're going to make it 25. That's because we love him. My dear brothers and sisters, I'm not going to take up too much more of your time because I'm not too very good at words. So I want to tell you this. And there's many more to come. Like they say, many rivers to cross. But we're going to make it by will. Rest in peace. Thank you for all your good work. Thank you for me being a producer for many of the songs that you sing. Thank you for being a friend of mine. Thank you for sharing all those times with me at my apartment on Foster Avenue, and my home on Nostrand Avenue with a recording studio where you stayed for many years with many of the Calypsonians. You were staying upstairs and coming downstairs and recording at the same time. So you could not miss. Everything was right there. So when you finished compose your song, you couldn't go too far so you would not forget them. You come right upstairs and recorded them. So thank you again. Thank you all for allowing me to say these words. And thank you again, my dear Winston Pieces. All who came by plane, or all who came by boat, or all who came by car, to be here, I pray the good Lord take us back to our place of abode safe. Goodbye.
We call to the stage at this point in time the president of TUCO, Mr. Lutalo Masimba. And you may know him better as Brother Resistant.
Greetings in the name of the Most High God. Greetings! I come like Charlie. I don't know why they put me after that, boy. all protocols are observed, and the only protocol to observe is the power of Dr. Winston Bailey. I want to say, just before I just do this contribution on behalf of TUCO, I want to mention something that I think is important for us as artists and entertainers. The family of Dr. Bailey never asks nobody for no funeral service, never asked nobody to bury him, and they made that quite clear. This celebration here, I want to underline the contribution of a Calypsonian who was former president of the Trinidad Unified Calypsonians Organization and is now the chairman of the NCC, because he called the family and offered to facilitate in whatever way that the family wanted for the service to continue. Winston Gypsy Peters, enough respect. Today, we celebrate the life of Dr. Winston Bailey, the Shadow, a man of demonic energy, inexhaustible talent, and creative resourcefulness. And yes, he had me reading. I had to read. His enthusiasm and his vocation bordered on the excessive, and if a leader's job is to help people find meaning in life, then Shadow was a true leader. We all loved his humanity and his monumental self-belief, for he created songs that rang deep in our Trinbagonian psyche. The passing of an icon of Shadow's stature always leaves us questioning. How are we preserving our stories? How do we store and exhibit them? Why can't we impress on the powers that be? And it is important to have a museum of Calypso history. Dr. Bailey's impact on the cultural landscape of the region goes way beyond the carnival reality. Indeed, his departure from this physical space would continue to stimulate extensive conversations as to the preservation and promotion of his legacy, the accessibility of his catalog by researchers, students, and Calypso lovers the world over. So if we are to celebrate the life and contribution of Dr. Bailey to our own nation and to the world, we must do more than simply recall his songs from our collective memory. We must do more than jump and skip as we dance like Shadow. We of TUCO are committed to continue the fight against music piracy. We will continue to struggle for more local content. Our organization will continue to lobby for the establishment of a museum of Calypso history and our collaboration with the management of National Archives of Trinidad and Tobago, as well as our collaboration with NALIS, the University of Trinidad and Tobago, and the University of the West Indies will continue. The seeds have been planted, the tree will grow, and it will bear fruit. It must. Dr. Winston Bailey never asked TUCO for anything. Instead, he gave freely to the cause. He always answered the call when TUCO called. Today, we are 25 years strong because of that. And we believe, just like Winston Bailey, we believe in the stars in the dark night. We believe in the sun in the daylight. We believe in the little children. Oh, we believe in life and its problems. Rob me, beat me, cheat me, but you can't change me. You could dig out my eye. You could force me to cry. You could tell me a lie, but you can't change me. Stand firm for your culture. By Calypso, our stories are told. Long live Calypso.
We would like to welcome to the stage Mr. Anthony Carmona, Senior Counsel, Order of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago and former President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you.
Minister of Culture, Dr. Dolly, the Minister of Health, Mr. Dayal Singh. And what can I say about the panoply of artists in this sacrosanct environment? I refer to men of great stature, Gypsy, Explainer, Crazy, Valentino, All-Rounder. And I can go on and on and on, focusing on many of the great artists that I saw up on the wake, at the wake in Mount Hope on Saturday. Diamond, Funny, Explainer. And I want to give a special welcome to someone who called me this morning. I'm talking about Count Robin, who flew in yesterday. And so many of us in deep grief, because we like to talk celebration in time of death. And indeed, in fact, there is a need to celebrate. I see Colin Lucas. Colin, I remember the days in UWI when you used to back me up. And now, in fact, you're in charge, and all the best. Ladies and gentlemen, I reflected on the cascading superlatives that literally flooded a nation's consciousness and a nation's soul, all in adulation of Shadow, Dr. Winston Bailey, the artist, scholar Calypsonian. And it had me pondering when he was alive in his heyday. He would have been hard-pressed to feel the genuine appreciation of a nation's gratitude as a Calypsonian philosopher, Calypso scholar, Calypsonian extraordinaire. In winning the 2000 coveted Calypso Monarch crown, it appears that the questions posed in "What's wrong with me?" and "Scratch my back," the champion Calypsonian of the new millennium was mapping out issues confronting him through his journey as a child, master composer, lyricist, musician, and performer. He had by then sung Jump, Judges Jump in 1977 to lay down the gauntlet that he would not be treated unfairly by those blind to genius. And this is why I have to give a special salutation to the friends of the youth of Trinidad and Tobago who collaborated with other great individuals to have those concerts for Shadow on the 23rd of September 17, and also at the Labour College and at Shaw Park. You see, Shadow observed people and his natural environment with a critical eye well reflected in song. For example, remember Koki Okro? When he was saying, in my view, cook, curry, or crow. The imaginative cry of a cock who didn't want to be cooked. Don't cook me, but rather cook, curry, or crow. He appealed to the Tobago culture of double entendre and our sense of smile and humor. Through Calypso, our stories are told, and Shadow, through the substance of his music, caused us to internalize, genuflect, and openly read the sign of the times. He never shortchanged the nation with half-baked messages. He spoke his mind with songs of lyrical content and substance. The ultimate aim of Shadow was to make each of us a conduit of transformative change and become channels of peace, that love had no boundaries. His call was to mission each of us for a better and greater world. You know something, ladies and gentlemen? Long before the United Nations formalized a mandate to end world hunger, and that no one must be left behind by way of the 17 United Nations Sustainable Goals, Shadow trumpeted the admonition that poverty is hell and that everybody is somebody. Yes, he was a historian that debunked fake historical news that Columbus discovered the West Indies. Yes, that Columbus lied. And his community concerns not to sink the Soka boat. It is only an enlightened monarch who is in tune with the socio-economic realities of his subjects and the environment in which they live could have realized the value of each person in the realm, in the kingdom, in the empire. Everybody is somebody. And imagine that song was not the subject of massive airplay by the very large majority of dozens of radio stations which occupy our airwaves. That thought-provoking and pause-raising Calypso was one of the theme songs in the Hollywood hit movie, as Charlie mentioned, as his manager mentioned, Lean on Me, based on a true story with his lead actor, the legendary Morgan Freeman, in the role of Principal Joe Clark, who was trying to instill in the students of an inner-city school in New Jersey the importance of self-belief as a precondition for success at their examinations. In my final address to the nation as president on the occasion of Republic Day, in speaking about the contribution of our Calypsonians to national development at that time, I spoke of the sometimes prophetic impact of Calypsonians on our psyche. And I spoke about Winston Bailey, and I wish to quote what I said in 2017. And I quote, Winston Bailey, the mighty shadow, who has been referred to as the William Blake of Calypso, also recognized that you cannot build a whole if all the parts are not included. If everyone is not given a chance to make a difference. In his provocative rendition, Everybody is Somebody, he postulated, if a man is born in luxury, they prove to me through history, he is somebody. And if a man is born in poverty, starvation, and misery, he is nobody. And when a woman makes her son or daughter from the time that the child is born, he or she is somebody. Everybody is somebody. Nobody is nobody, the pauper or the wealthy. Obviously, these words could only have been penned by a man inspired, demonstrating the sheer ingenuity of the shadow. He could have easily sang a song, What is Wrong with Trinidad and Tobago, without looking at himself in the mirror, as many of the things he commented on were a snapshot of the injustices seen in our society from time to time. I admired the ability of Winston Bailey to say so little while saying so much. He was a true master of the use of rhyme with perfect meter and economy of words. He was fully aware that the Calypsonian was not a journalist, although he covered topics covered by journalists. And consequently, as a Calypsonian, he employed the tools of a poet. How moved I was when I first heard the mind-blowing Calypso, My Belief. I was a university student in Jamaica in the 70s when we locked down the university, a time of revolution, a time when students were questioning, unlike today, the very relevance of the status quo to bring about meaningful change to the downtrodden and the marginalized in Caribbean societies. We have heard how people hold steadfast to their beliefs, dogmas, and traditions. And many reasons have been proffered as to why certain principles are ingrained in people, even when it might be counterproductive to harbor certain beliefs. Shadow, in his inimitable way, while the adjudicators seldom understood, croon, I believe in the children. I believe in life and its problem. You can dig out my eye and force me to cry. You can tell me a lie, but even the best thief cannot steal my belief. in What Wrong With Me, the king, not from hell, from heaven, in lamenting the lack of recognition he got for his contribution to the development of soca, sang, I went up Lavantil, night and day, I study, come down to the city like a walking symphony, take all my music, disguise it as soca. I do not know if you have ever heard musical talent being described as a walking symphony. I have rarely heard such an effective use of language to describe musical gifts, except when they were written by his shadow. In his Dingole, which is a great song by any standard, not as a calypso, he remarked that you don't need a bulldozer to be a composer. Music have no friends or enemies. Everybody could Dingole, and even in the dark, a blind man can find a melody. You see, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the finest examples of the effective use of literary devices to paint a picture, to send a message of the effect and importance of music in our daily lives, the universality of music. Shadow was not a one-dimensional calypsonian, but one steeped in the tradition of music, touching themes which were not appealing and necessarily relevant to local audiences, but it could be understood by people from different lands. In examining his playbook, as I contemplated writing this less than comprehensive tribute to a great bard, I also had to focus on songs like Who Foolin' Who, which sought to debunk a number of proverbs or sayings which we use in our attempts at understanding certain developments which occur on a diurnal basis, in a shadowy style, which could be understood by university professors and equally by the man on the street. He sang, stoop to conquer can never be all right. If you want to conquer, you have to learn to fight. They had my grandfather waiting for the good things which come to those who wait. But he wind up in a coffin, poor like a church rat, because he found out too late. William Shakespeare say, who steals my purse steals trash. But the shadow say that thief was looking for some cash. So much trash bags on the pavement. If you really want to steal, you don't need any consent. Just pull up with your wheel. And if I catch you inside my pocket looking for trash, inside my wallet, run away from here. Danger could be near. My name is not William Shakespeare. Shadow was not about hypocrisy. He was about telling it like it is. And I have spoken of the need to internationalize Calypso to give it an undeniable presence on the world stage. And Shadow was one of those bards that did exactly that. The world Calypsonians must be your oyster. His construct was often about rhyming lyrical content with dynamic rhythm, always with a mandate to inform, to educate, and hopefully transform. You see, ladies and gentlemen, the magic of truth is lost upon us as a nation, often because many times the truth, pristine as it is, exists, but it remains unacceptable. Shadow believed that he can revolutionize our lives. But you know something, ladies and gentlemen? We are afraid because, as Verna St. Rose have stated so emphatically, we have become a land of cowards. And if I may add, slowly we are becoming a land of hypocrites and convenience. Shadow was not about the fluff in our national dialogue, because he was neither a coward or a hypocrite. Every Kankalang Shadow song had a transformative message to wake us from our slumber. Even to the Hona man, that what goes around comes around. Why cannot we be honest about ourselves? Why cannot we say, Shadow, you were wrong by judges, wrong by those who never appreciated the artist in you or the inspirational content in your music, wronged by those who gave you a hummingbird silver when you are worthy of an ORTT. A composer who has registered 378 songs with the copyright organization of TNT. And I do humbly hope that the National Awards Committee and the Honorable Prime Minister correct this anomaly, remembering that with regard to national awards, the president here, once president, is at the end of the food chain. Tell me something. Why was it every radio station was not playing Shadow's music 24/7 when he died? We are always shortchanging ourselves and our heroes. When Bob Nestor Marley died in Jamaica, when he died, everything was preempted. And Marley music ruled the airways 24/7. That is what happened in Jamaica. When we did what we had a 12-hour show. It was almost like an afterthought. If we do not big up our own, who will? You see, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm taking some license from that wonderful, inspirational leader, Charlie. You're giving me time, so I'm taking it. Shadow clothed himself with the persona of darkness, giving us a false sense of security that we can hide from ourselves, continuously fooling ourselves, and then that voice of correction, that voice of instruction, that is not only about shedding light, but giving empowering enlightenment that can make you a better person. A demand that you share light when you are blessed to have it, and not hide that light by hiding in the herd, which many are wont to do. Shadow wanted us to be the light in somebody's darkness. And he did this through the power of the word in song and the power of the bass drum. The heartbeat song, whether it was racing or staccato, stuttering, remained his medium to transform our lives. His was an art form, a genius of poetry in musical motion. I remember reflecting on his morphological linguistic style and use of the vernacular, that he must have been taught by a wise wordsmith and a culture vulture grammarian. Ladies and gentlemen, do you all really appreciate the brass lines in Shadow's music? He had a voice that demanded attention. And as Pelham Goddard of Charlie's Roots stated, he was a rule breaker of music. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, Shadow was not parochial. On more than one occasion, he emphasized that his mission was not to win any crown, but to make music for people wherever they lived on this planet called Earth. This was the inspiration which led to the composing the Calypso One Love, a song which his dear son Shalon, despite the loss of his dad, was able to muster the strength to sing at the graduation ceremony at UWI when he received the honorary doctorate. Well done, Shalon. Well done. I wish to finally respectfully submit that although One Love was not as commercially successful as the other song of the same title performed by Bob Marley, it is on par in its message and music. So I urge you parents here today and those officials in charge of educating our future leaders to obtain this song and let it be part and parcel of the book of songs done in our schools. It is the best ode to peace that I have heard, and it was done by the former head of the Master's Den Calypso tent, that venerable mystic, the Shadow. Yes, just listen to these words, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to see a world of unity, equality throughout humanity, peacefulness, happiness, and togetherness. I would like to see the day when love would come to stay, One love, one love. It would be happiness to see such a unity. One love, one love. Love to the world is all that I can say deep in my soul. I would like to see that day of peacefulness and togetherness. I look around. And this, in fact, ladies and gentlemen, is the legacy that I wish you to consider. Because there is too much bitterness in this land of ours. He said, I look around and all that I can see, hate and confusion throughout humanity, no peacefulness, no happiness, no togetherness. And as he lies there, ladies and gentlemen, remember what he says. If you are to be honest to his legacy, I would like to see the day when love would come to stay. One love, one love. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Change my destination. Man can lead to suffocation. Man can treat me very evil. Man can get me into trouble. Oh, let's sing this song. Leave me in grief, but no one can steal my belief. I believe in the sun, I believe in the little children. I believe in life and its problem. You can rob me, cheat me, beat me, but you can't. Your turn. But you can't change me. right? Oh yeah, yeah. Simple. So simple. Every second. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. No.
Yeah, but you can't change
Your turn.
me. Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. No. On the plane, China. Go again.
But you can't change.
One more time. Oh yeah. But you can't. One more. Oh yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. No.
But you
can't change. Good day, everybody. Good day, everybody. Yeah, man, you gotta be lively. The man, one of his biggest requests was, he said, I want to set a crying thing, you know. Play the music, let them smile. Because in his words, it's about the music. Well, they asked me to do this today, which is a kind of hard work, because I mean, me and my sister, my brother, we have been going through the distance with him in these last weeks here. You know, it was real hard. And I come up here to start the thing up under, well, he was born in 1941, October 4th. But oh gosh, you could Google that. Understand? I come to tell you, but when he now start, one of the first tunes he do was a song called The Threat. You understand? Where he says, steel band men, please listen to me. Dig the beat of this melody. I quite agree, Kitchener is great. But in 71, they must feel me weight, yes. If then steel band boy give this tune a little try. The last line, Kitchy boy, water in ya. Yeah, man. And he dropped that to that song was do earlier, funny. It's called Modern Housewives. But according to what he tell me, he say, here, when I try that, you know what they tell me, boy? You come from? Just so you want to threaten Sparrow and Kitchener, why you behave yourself? Sing the other song. He said, I take that. See, next year I come and I hit them on next one. Trouble in 72. But if you tell him sing a song called Saltfish, because he going and threaten Sparrow and Kitchener again. And then 1973, because he hear, he say, I want to shake it down. They had to hear me, Shalon. They had to hear me. And then he do the song, we say, I don't want to get vexed and lose my temper, Mr. Kitchener and Mr. Sparrow. Because anytime I get vexed, I go use my razor. So I'm warning you, carry me by the Obia man too. They ain't take him on again. So he say he get frustrated and he went back to Tobago. Went back to Tobago and he said, boy, I know what I'm going to do again. So I go and check my mother. She cooked me a nice little pea soup. He said, I'm eating the pea soup. And if she hadn't explained to me, because as a good mother, she's looking out for her son now. So she explained to him, boy, you see that thing in Trinidad? Come back home and do your thing. You'll go find a nice little job. And you go be. He said, come back, baby, go and do what? Plant peas? 1974 was Bassman. You understand? But that's what it really is about Shadow the Warrior. You understand? He don't give up. He don't back down. I always remember one of my fondest memories in the tent with him, performing in the tent with him, was watching him a year, Judges Night. He come on, start the first tune, mash up the place, and when he's going to start the second one, he says, stop. You see all the judges on the table there? Put all the pen down. All they can't judge me. I mean, it was amazing to see him take that kind of stance because he was having some issues with the whole system of judging now. And I know he have it a long time, even before I was born, but it was my first experience of seeing it, you know. You see, the thing is, Winston Bailey was born for change. And change is a thing we do accept now. Anything different, anything that represents change, we just black book it. you know? And because God make him the force that he is now, because I always tell him, all the hurt and pain you get growing up, that hell you live in, which is poverty, that was God training you to be a monster, to come out there and fight and make change happen. Because I hear musicians say before Bassman, when you hand a Bassman a sheet, it used to be chords. This man bring lines to the thing. He had no choice. And you know, God was so on that journey that he sent him to a Bassman named Les Coteaux to make that thing happen. So I get that man a round of applause to understanding that level of madness. You understand? And as well as a next point, in that same 1974, the man didn't just win the road march, you know. He comes second to himself, 40 bad. Give a round of applause for that too. I mean, when you check the fella career, we have no choice but to smile. Because I remember once he gave me a story, he said, but he went into Warner Brothers studio and they had this big WB on the carpet. He said, I feel comfortable, you know, because I sure that stand for Winston Bailey. But I mean, I get to share so much stories with him because I mean, he was my father, he was a brethren, and he was an artist that I just work with now. In fact, I remember telling him once, I said, Daddy, you know, since I doing music production, I started produce people, you spoil me. He said, how I spoil you? I said, the first time I go in that studio, I sit down watching him and waiting for him to tell me what to do. I didn't realize it doesn't work so. Winston Bailey just do it so. You understand? I mean, it has so much musicians that claim that they bring that vibe that Winston Bailey have. But I sit down in that studio with Winston Bailey, you don't just play something for Winston Bailey, you gotta like it first. Think about it. This is a man who has stayed relevant for 5 decades. 70 to 80 hits. 80 to 90 hits. 90 to 2000 hits. And if he was here today, we would have had some more hits. That's right. Because that is the kind of fella that Winston Bailey was now. And I mean, I use the word was because I'm referring that to physical and flesh. But that man can't dead. That man immortalized himself in all your minds, Jed. That up to today, anything different is a shadow vibes. And any bassline that bounces a different way is a shadow vibes. You understand? We just talk about soca, but soca is drum and bass. Who is drum and bass? Shadow vibes. You understand what I'm saying? If you trace the man's career, this man was existing for change. He never fight the word. Because he was never about the word. Because what I just tell you, he was about the music. When you check the track record of this man, actually just recently I was explaining to someone, there's some popular Calypsonians that released in 1978 that has Shadow's 1977 arrangements. That is the influence that he has. Some of the more popular tunes that you know, that I could call now, has Shadow inside of there. But why we just forget him so? Why we just forget him so? Because he was a born revolutionist. Because he started at a time when men used to shave their face and put on their shiny shoe. He take everything that's wrong with the system and become it then. So you don't like black? I go wear black. You understand? You don't like a dark-skinned aggressive man? Well, here I in your face. The music represents the look. You understand? He was one of the full complete packages it have out there when it comes to Calypso and Calypsonians then. And yet still we stand to, one of the things that hurt me is that I wish he was here right now to see how much people love him now. Because I don't think he ever understand how much people love him now. And that's something that really hurt him along the way then. Because I really could talk all kind of things up here, you know. The reason why I stick it to the music, because according to he, that's what we want all to know. And he do that for all year. In fact, I remember 2 years back, he was in and out of the hospital and make a remarkable recovery. And somebody stopped him in the road and said, boy, Shadow boy, I'm glad to see you, boy. How you come out of this one? He said, boy, I feel the people prayers. It's the people prayers that bring me back. He says, not one prayers, not 2 prayers, there's plenty prayers, boy. I mean, this man is a musical scientist now. A musical scientist. Every beat, drop, note, have a purpose. It don't ever just be he go in a room and say, I want boop bap, boop bap. wherever at that times in the studio, I mean, we working together. In fact, we were working on what you're coming here for. And he was explaining that he wanted that in the studio, we were working, because we work late nights and we were in the distance. And this man gave me a line that make no sense at all. And he tell me, sing it to me, you know, boy, play that, boy. And I on the keyboard trying to figure out what he want me to play, boy. He sing it again. Well, I catch it and I play it now. You see the minute that going in the music, that thing started to make so much sense now because he's a visionary. It are people who try to mimic Shadow, and that's all they accomplish, mimic Shadow. Because they take elements of songs that he do before and mimic Shadow. But you really can't song like Shadow now. Because a song like Shadow, you have to think like Shadow now. You have to walk like Shadow now. You understand? You have to smile like Shadow. You have to enjoy life like Shadow now. You know, and it's real nice to see everybody out here and giving them that clap and giving them a forward. You know? But I think it's time for me to happen. He leave the earth. It's time. It didn't happen. Because that contribution happened. That contribution happened. You understand? That contribution make put a name to it. Nobody don't notice it, but here I go challenge all of it too. Right? If Shadow is the most original artist it have out there, he have no copy, it means he was not following nobody with the soca vibes. How come his music is fit today? How come that style understood? When the style that he was battling in 1970, we don't hear that no more now. But Shadow still present. How he accomplished that? This man, he was still making hits. When it went full digital, he was still making hits. That's genius. That is real genius. You understand? And in regards to, as this Booker said earlier on, about if you feel you can make a Shadow, well, why you make some more? That's impossible. It's impossible, you know? And the thing about Shadow is that everybody know him different. Everybody who meet him know him different. Some intimidated, but Shadow's a teddy bear. But you have to get any space to do that. If you go down in the places in Europe, amongst friends, you'll notice they address him as King, not Shadow. King. But that's the place he feels most comfortable. Because he's not a fella like up, he like grassroots. This is how, I mean, come on, in Dingole you say bust up shoe or bust up shirt. Everybody can Dingole. A man can go just say that I don't know lie because he sung nice in a song. He believe in that now. He believe in that. And I mean, I was reading a paragraph my sister Shadius was saying about her fondest memories about my father. And she talked about something which is true. She said that she loved story time. That man could tell a story. I remember once a soca artist told me, boy, I tried to talk to that man. And I did he just sang talking to me. He said, but music playing hard. I can't hear him. He said, but stand up and listen now because Shadow talking to me. Me bound to hear. I just want people pass and say, hey, Shadow talking to me, you know. You understand? But this man is a storyteller. Like for instance, I remember once he told me, he said, Shalon, you see that talk about Elijah went up in a chariot of fire? Like aliens, you know. Like aliens, I said, well, Daddy, wait, what proof is that? He said, come now, man. How did they describe a spaceship in that time? That is an alien business. He said, ever notice in the Bible, as I said that them is walk with stick? Is a connection. This man, I mean, when you get to know him and you get to love him, you can't let go now because don't matter what he do, you have to go back to him because he just bring a thing to you. He just reach you, you know? Like for instance, somebody once asked me, a reporter recently asked me about his legacy. And yes, his legacy is his music. And it's a very large catalog. But to me, his legacy is my brother, is my sisters. That is the legacy because I just see him in all of them. He have a tendency, madman, vagrant, anybody that just draw to him. I just see that in my brother Sean. He have a very caring, kind-hearted, nurturing personality. I see that in my sister Shadius. He have a kind of focused drive, that drive that make him conquer this town now. I see that in my sister Idris. They have a happy-go-lucky vibes when he's ready, that he cares about nothing, just about making people smile. I see that in my sister Esther. So for me, he been gone, because he leave to my music to disappear. Yes, I go and miss him real bad, but I'm a partner. Well, I remember once, for the past how much years I was singing in Calypso House, Calypso tent. But there was a point in time when no tent was picking me now. I just going from audition to audition with a guitar, and nobody ain't taking me on. And I remember a time I went up and I checked him and take a little line with him and said, he asked me, why are you looking disappointed so? I said, well, Daddy, they're laughing, they're getting bad, I mash up the place, but they ain't picking me. And he tell me, boy, don't study them, boy. You see, life, when you're getting this music thing, it's like trying to get through a door. He says, just kick and you just pound that door until it open. He said, when it open, you choke a toe to make sure you don't close it back. He said, when you crack and you close it back, he said, push for your life and get inside. He said, when you get inside, you ain't winning. The fight now starts. And I remember he gave me that, but the truth is I was so depressed at the point in time, not even them words of comfort could have reached me now. And I say to myself that as my father, he was just sharing some good words to make me feel better. And I remember he was going to make a little turn with Papa and a couple of his friends. And I was walking up the road with my guitar on my shoulder. And he stopped and he asked me, you want to go with me? I said, nah. He said, you want to go with me? I said, nah. Next morning he called me. He said, Shalon? I said, yeah. Don't do me that again, I said, why do you? He said, boy, I watch you walk up the road with that guitar, but all I see is myself, Don't do that again, boy. But I'm sharing these stories because I really want to see a smile on their face now. Because under his request, he didn't want tears. Didn't want tears. He never said, if you wear black, you can't come inside, But he wanted white to be a celebration. He wanted me to reflect. He wanted me to remember him, understand by the music, what he do, who he reach, what he say. So I want to tell everybody here, Shadow ain't gone. He do too much work to go. Winston Bailey might not be here no longer, but he leave a fella named Shadow for we to always reference to. So all the upcoming artists, all the soca artists, all the new colors, yeah man, Dingole album, that's right, pay it up. When you want to understand how you do music, then you go back to a fella named Winston Bailey, the Shadow, which had the blueprint and mastered the thing. Right, so everybody, as the rest of the day go by, I want to say thank you for coming out, and thank you for appreciating what I'm doing. And then we get a round of applause in the existence of Winston Bailey. Enjoy the rest of the night.
Welcome the Signal Hill Alumni Choir.
I'm a stranger, said a pretty girl. I came down here for the carnival, do some music, have me in a trance, come to play mass, teach me how to dance. Buy a little rag and put it in your pocket, buy a little rag, that's the way we do it. Find yourself a thing. Line up. Do your thing. Dance up. Do your thing.